5:30, so I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And first thing on the agenda is a roll call. Kelly Davis?
Yep.
Angie Wilson?
Here.
Kim Reed here. Scott Long? Ryan Chapman. Okay. Second item, we need to approve the minutes from the April 15th Water Advisory Committee meeting. So I will, if there's no comments or changes on last month's minutes, I will entertain a motion to approve them as submitted.
I'll entertain that.
I'll
Okay,
second.
have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Actually, I skipped number 2. Agenda amendments and approval of agenda. So I need a motion to approve tonight's agenda and if there's any amendments.
I'll make that.
Yeah, I have a motion. And I
I
need
second.
a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 4, citizen input. I know that we have some citizens here that would probably like to speak, and that's great. We're happy you're here. I will say that when you come, I guess proper protocol is state your name and speak clearly. The acoustics are better in this room, but they're not perfect. So at this time, if any citizen would like to address the committee, I'd open the floor to that. No input? Okay. We'll move on to item 5, financial statements. Detailed water and sewer financial reports. Trevor, you have any comments on the financials? I know you're primarily, talk to us about in your director's report, but anything on the financials?
No.
Nothing noteworthy? No big expenditures that surprise us or anything?
Not as of yet.
Okay, good deal. That's always good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, moving on, item 6 is the director's report. And the first item under that is an item that's gotten a lot of attention recently is the proposed A, B, and EE utilities connections. And you're going to clear the water and let us, so to speak, and tell us what's going on out there and
Clear as
how
mud,
it's
yeah.
impacting the system.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, we got Richard McMillan here,
Okay.
with Algar Martin. I figured that'd probably be good for him to go up there and give his presentation, and then if there is any questions or anything additional, we can kind of go from there with it.
Great.
I don't know if you got anything on your,
Well, I guess I kind of need to know what the questions are that needs answered.
Well, first I want to preface, we're an advisory board. We were formed back in the summer, and we kind of, our primary purpose is to be a go-between between the city, the board of aldermen, and the citizens. We don't have any power as far as voting yay or nay for anything, but the three of us up here now either have worked or are currently working for city utilities. So we all have a lot of experience in the utility industry for many, many years, and we also have an interest in the water and wastewater system of the city, the integrity of it. We want to ensure that it's expanded properly, and also we've all learned we have a very old system in some areas, a lot of improvements needed, and we're just like a lot of people out here. We're concerned citizens, and we stepped up to serve on this board, and so that's kind of our role. And Richard, I think I think a lot of the concern is obviously this proposed development. I think it's a big concern from what I've heard out there, and then I've talked to a few citizens, and they're worried about the density. What's that going to do to our water capacity? What's it going to do to the wastewater system? And so going in with that, you're the engineer, I presume, for the developer. So if you kind of can just educate us, because I don't have much background, and And I think that would be beneficial
Well, I
for
guess
everybody.
I would preface my remarks by, we're not the design engineer for the developer.
Okay, you're basically a city engineer and you've done.
I'm working for the city of Willard.
Right, so you've done, and I do know that they've prepared long-term, long-range planning reports for the city for both water and wastewater, so.
Well, it was for wastewater, is what we prepared, and that
Wastewater,
was
okay.
back in 21 and 20,
Right.
2021 and 2022, when
Okay.
we worked on that.
So basically, you could address how this development or any other future developments would impact the system as it
Yeah,
currently
well,
is.
okay, let's start off by, right now, there's a project under construction there in the Meadows. We call it the Meadows Regionalization Trunk Sewer.
Okay,
And what that's going to do, it's going to allow the elimination of that lagoon and land application system, you know, that's there right now.
which is a good thing.
And, yeah, well, yes, because the lagoons have a geological setting that's high collapse potential. So the Department of Natural Resources for a long time has wanted that eliminated. But anyway, that, I can tell you that particular trunk sewer, it's a 15-inch trunk sewer. It's going to tie into an existing trunk sewer that, from when the new airport terminal was built out there. There was a gravity sewer, it's a 21-inch, comes down there to a lift station in the northwest corner of the airport property. It's called the Airport West Lift Station. And it's gonna, that's where this is all gonna be tributary to. That particular trunk sewer, it has an average daily design flow capacity of 620,500 gallons per day and a peak flow capacity of 1,959,000 gallons per day. So it's got substantial capacity, certainly far more capacity than what's needed for existing developments out there as far as dry weather flows. Now, and probably everybody here knows that the Meadows area out there, the Meadows West and East basins, there is significant infiltration inflow in the sewer system out there. Back in 2017 and 18, the city of Springfield put a flow meter in on the 10-inch sewer that receives flow from the two lift stations there in the Meadows that flows to the lagoon system. And based on that data that was developed, it was for several months. I mean, it went on from November of 2017 to September of 2018. The average daily flow was a little over, well, right around 83,300 gallons a day going to the lagoon system. And that included wet weather and dry weather flows. In reviewing that data, the peak day flow during a wet weather event was 526,000 gallons per day. So that's kind of we talk about peaking factors in the engineering profession, and it's like 6.3 to 1, you know, peak wet weather to dry weather flows. And that's pretty significant. Typically, you want to see those peaking factors in the range of 4 or below. But anyway, so yes, it does have an infiltration inflow problem. I think Ray Lynch here, they're getting geared up to do flow monitoring and out there in the metal system to try to isolate where some of the extraneous water is getting into the sewer system, and then they'll probably recommend some, you know, trying to repair at least the public sector. That'd be the mains, manholes, things like that.
Could I jump in here with, I may be out of order with my section, but it kind of follows up on what he said for the I&I. We've been focused a lot of our efforts in the Meadows right now, and we found some significant problems out there, like Richard's saying. I have video here on my phone I can pass around to you guys. of leaking manholes. And basically, to put this kind of in layman terms, we've got a leak in one of our manholes that's 72,000 gallons a day of groundwater is coming in during wet weather events. That's 2.16 million gallons a month. But to put that more in like an understanding, instead of just throwing out numbers, that's what the water usage would be for 540 houses through one manhole.
Right.
So a lot of effort, we're gonna put a tremendous amount of effort into fixing some of these problems. And I found some on King in town here that's even yet worse than that. So the importance of this job is, if we're paying by the gallon, we have a vested interest to stop as much of this groundwater that we don't need to be treating and pumping.
Right.
So we've been working really hard on that. And I got some video, and you guys it's just hard to believe how much water can leak into a system. And the Meadows is, like Richard said, there's a lot of work to be done out there.
Right.
You know, we've been focusing on putting manholes in, and we found some of the system in Willard that, you know, the old lamp holes, the pipes are coming up, we found that they're bent, cracked, leaking effluent water out into the groundwater. And if they're leaking groundwater or effluent out, then groundwater is definitely coming in. We've got some on JFK over here that we traced down just a couple days ago, and we can't even get to the source of the groundwater coming in because I've got to put some manholes in. So we're working on infrastructure also. So once we get that in, we can start tackling some more of this stuff. So I&I is a huge job and something we really need to tackle for the dollar amount. So, but yeah.
Okay.
To try to address, I think, your questions is, you know, plan development out there, and density and whatnot. As far as, you know, we look at what the projected land use might be based on whatever developers propose it. General business, commercial, which is C2, I think that's probably Greene County's zoning designations. It's about 15, a design flow allowance of 1,500 gallons per day per acre. A planned development, PD, is 1,350 gallons per day per acre. Planned development, PD with R1, which is residential, 900 gallons per day per acre. And then just single family residential, R1, 750 gallons per day per acre. And then general business, C2, 1,500 gallons per day per acre. Those are just rule of thumb allowances that we use. Some of those we may have developed ourselves way back years ago when we were doing some of the Springfield work, particularly the Airport West truck sewer and lift station. But anyway, applying those, you know, I don't know what is it, Auburn Metal, is that the name of the current?
Yes.
I'm not, we're not privy to what all's been planned out there. We don't have that information. Looking at flow data that we have and additional future development that we've looked at out there as far as vacant land that could develop, that's all in the engineering report that we did back in 21 and 22. But I guess, long story short, what we would recommend is that particular development be limited to 113,400 gallons per day design flow. So whatever they can build and keep within that limitation, then the system should handle that. And that's a 105 acre tract. Another thing we do is we only apply those allowances to 80% of what the entire tract is. In other words, 105 acres times 80% times 1,350, that's planned development. And that's where we came up with that figure at, average daily flow of 113,400. That's our advice to the city. But
I have a question about that. Is that based on the current I&I issues that we have, or getting it to?
Again, the I&I is totally separate from that. Again, all I can tell you is that trunk sewer out there has a peak flow capacity of almost 2 billion gallons a day.
Yeah,
So,
and then we peaked at a little over 500,000. If you had mentioned 526,000 gallon per day peak,
that's an average daily flow, 620,500 average daily flow. That's what the 15-inch trunk sewer.
that's the current flow.
That's not current, that's the future flow that sewer line can handle,
Okay.
that's being
Well,
built.
What I was referring to, where it was metered, right?
He's talking about, the flow monitor.
The flow
The
data.
flow,
Sprinkler.
2018, you
The
said.
flow data,
yes,
well, that was one event, one rainfall event.
yeah, I understand.
And again, that was 2017, 18,
Yeah.
somewhere. I think I wrote that down, if I could tell you the exact day.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me when. but-
March 3rd of 2018, it was 526,000. That's what the flow meter registered that particular day.
So it could happen again, or it could be more.
It could,
Yeah.
but again,
Right.
Ray's efforts,
Right,
that's
they're
what they're
working on
doing.
it.
They're working on that
Yeah.
to reduce the I-9, yes.
Yeah, no, and that's totally understandable, but I think.
There's no way to project or predict what I&I is today versus
Versus
tomorrow.
what it'd be tomorrow, but just taking a snapshot in time, let's say this development that you've recommended, a maximum of 113,400 gallons per day with the current I&I that we have, it appears to me there's still plenty of capacity in that main to handle that, even
Yes.
on that peak day that we saw back in 2018. And as you said, with his efforts, that number is gonna get
Well,
lower.
it's an
And-
ongoing effort, and they need to continue that, there's no doubt. I mean, and once they get done with the metals, they need to move up into the Willard proper system itself, because there's infiltration inflow problems in it also.
And
That's
that's
the
what I'm,
plan.
that's what I'm trying to get to, that's the concern, I keep seeing, there's only 100 gallons left in Willard's sewer system. Well, no, that's not true. We have plenty of capacity for that development and future development in that area.
Yes.
Okay.
Am I allowed to ask a clarifying question just on the numbers that you
What's
recited?
that? I can't hear you.
Oh, can I ask a clarifying question just for my understanding on the numbers that you recited? So when you were talking about the calculations per zoning for how much is used, you mentioned residential. Did you guys factor in the difference between urban residential and regular residential? Because I think there's
Well,
significant
that's,
difference.
for those particular zoning designations, those are the rule of thumb numbers that, we developed on, some of them we developed ourselves for planning work that we did for Springfield. But then some of them are probably right in I would assume the Greene County Planning and Zoning Regulations.
So you didn't list urban residential? When
Pardon?
you did list urban residential, do you have the numbers for that?
Urban residential and mixed use are pretty close to the same.
Okay,
He has mixed use numbers in there.
okay.
Urban residential can go down to 6,000 square foot lots, and mixed use is around that.
Correct, but what water,
Plan development, PD.
Yeah.
And that's my understanding, that's what that developer is
Urban residential, yeah.
is trying to do, is a plan development, is that correct? Okay. A flow allowance, we would recommend limiting them to 1,350 gallons per day per acre.
okay,
That's our recommendation.
right.
City
Again,
doesn't have
this
to
was
follow
me
it.
just trying to clarify if there's a difference in calculation between residential and urban residential.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, again, plan development, we don't try to designate between rural residential and urban residential, but anyway.
Can I
I
ask,
apologize, I'm old and I'm a little bit hot.
I'm old too. Can you explain the trunk that's being built again, what that is doing? It's going to the reservoir, is that what it?
Trevor, is there a way to put diamond maps up
What they're
here?
building out there now?
They're
Can you
building
turn
the
the
trucks.
TV on and go to Google Maps?
You've got diamond maps, don't you?
So is that supposed to drain out the lagoon? what's being there?
No,
So,
no, we'll intercept, that trunk sewer, the 15-inch trunk sewer will intercept the 10-inch line that flows, I don't know what street that is.
103, 106, excuse me.
Is it- Well, it's.
What do you want to look at?
106 and
The
101.
trunk sewer is parallel to 106. It's coming out.
What do you
of
want to look at?
Well, just so people can have a visual of the trunk sewer versus the lagoon
there's
and
an
what's going on.
existing 10-inch sewer main that runs along 101 down to the sewer
You see the
lagoons.
manhole covers down through there.
So it goes down 101 to the lagoons.
Okay.
And what is being done right now is they are installing a 15-inch
No, you're good.
trunk
Just didn't
main
like it
sewer
for a
line.
second.
And at the intersection of 106 and 101, we will intercept the current 10-inch that runs to the lagoons, and it will then turn and go down 106, cross 103, and go to the lift station right up there just north of the intersection of 106 and 103 that belongs to Springfield. That we're taking all the flow away from the lagoons, and that will, in turn, remove restrictions that we have had in place. My name is Sam, I work for the city, I'm the project coordinator.
Of Willard,
Yes.
your city of Willard,
Yes.
okay. In the meeting last night in Wayne County, the planning and zoning, there was a fellow there that seemed very knowledgeable about Springfield workings, and he said that Springfield is very close to their maximum amount of pumping.
Yeah, that was
from
a
Willard.
Republican Bill Owen that said that, and apparently he might know something that we don't know, because we have, by the way, I'm Mayor Troy Smith of Willard, and I'm willing to meet with everybody after this meeting. Technically, they need to stick to their agenda,
Yeah.
but I'm willing to stay and talk with everybody afterwards. So Bill Owen made that statement about the city of Springfield shutting off the spigot. I have no idea where he got that information. We have a contract with the city of Springfield that they will take 600,000 gallons, I'm sorry, 1.32 million, is it per day or per week, Mike? Per day. Per day. We're only sending 600,000. Less than half of our contracted amount with the city of Springfield. It's my understanding that our P&Z department has met with the head of Springfield's sewage department, Aaron Kemper,
Yes.
who has said, we have plenty of room. And if for some reason we ever reach a point where we need more, they will work with us. So that statement really surprised me.
Even with a projected building of urban.
So let's do this. You guys stick to your agenda,
Yes.
and I will meet with anybody and talk about anything you want to talk about. Because I've watched a couple of these meetings, and some of the fallacies and some of the things that are being stated, like the school can't take any more students. Has anybody been on Desi's website and seen what's going on with the school population in Willard? Is it increasing or decreasing? It's decreasing.
The city's met with the school.
It's decreasing. Whenever we lose student population, what do we lose next? Teachers? Positions? So there's been a lot of misinformation out there. From what I've seen, there's been people sitting on boards that have not picked up the phone and made phone calls to the people that know. But I try to stay in my lane. So I will deal with what's going on in the city of Willard and what we can do and what we would like to see for the future, from my perspective. So I'll stick around afterwards and answer any questions you want.
Troy, with the capacity that you have the contract with the city, once you repair a bunch of this I and that gets shrunk down, that's just that.
There'll be even less.
You'll have even less that you're pumping to town because they're putting a bigger pipe in, they're gonna handle that flow with no problem whatsoever. That 15-inch pipe is gonna take, it's gonna take a lot to load that thing down. But once you get that ground seepage from going into your system out there and they repair that and it's not dropping in there, it's gonna make a huge, huge difference in that out there. It actually will be remarkable what it's gonna do to save money in the long run that won't be flowing to Springfield, that they're having to pay for now because it's getting
I
in
mean,
there.
correct, during wet weather events,
Yeah.
if you stop a major leak and it's 540 houses, that is absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, yeah.
The key point It's in the city's best interest to eliminate infiltration inflow because they're having to pay Springfield on a per gallon basis for the water that's sent there, wastewater that's sent there per gallon. So the more the city of Willard can eliminate, the less they're gonna have to pay to Springfield for treatment.
Because it ain't getting in the pipes of the town.
Right.
That lift station down there, it's got like a 2.5 million gallon per day capacity.
Is that the one with the little
It's-
circle drive?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
yes,
what
That's a
that
pump
is.
station. There's three pumps. There's three pumps in that station, and with two pumps operating in parallel, it can pump about 1,750 gallons per minute. So,
Well, I mean, their pipes breaking all over the place out there in Reynoldsville.
Yeah.
They're,
Well, but
I mean, we
that's-
walk through there, and
Yeah.
they're digging up the ground everywhere, putting new pipes in. The structure isn't there for some reason in that neighborhood. And it's in Villa
I
Park
don't
and
follow what
also.
they're saying.
We can talk to you about that.
Yeah, that's
Last time I was
fine.
here.
I just don't, I mean, I don't want to get the cart before the horse. I don't want
Right.
something to be approved that the city of Willard is gonna have to finance.
The-
And
the ci- the
because
city-
they've approved something that this guy's gonna just jump in and start.
Yes, we
You were gonna build this, okay, since you approved that, you're gonna approve this, and we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but-
still
It
in
is
on
clearly
your
an
notes.
urban area.
let's get back to the agenda, and we can cover all this after the meeting, for sure.
Okay, Richard, did you have anything else at this
I
time?
try to answer any questions or thoughts you all might want me to follow up on.
Okay, all right. Trevor, you want to go ahead and address anything else that's going on with that proposed
Well,
interconnection?
what I would say is, what Richard says or what Cochran Engineering say, that's their recommendations. Now, the city can do whatever the city wants. If the city says, hey, they said that we can only take 500 homes,
Mm-hmm,
the city can still say, well, we want to do 600 homes.
yeah,
It's just a recommendation. I mean, so I wouldn't, hold whatever they say to a T to say, that's exactly what we have to do. Now, should we? Probably, but I don't want to get too carried away, and say, this is what we're allowed. Now, we also don't want to allow Derek Lee's development to take up all of our capacity.
Sure.
And there is going to be upgrades that have to be done. He can't do a full build out. We know that. We know it's gonna need upgrades. It's gonna have upgrades to do a full build out. So if Greene County approves the zoning, then we were like, hey, it's gonna need $5 million in upgrades, and he's like, well, I'm not doing it, then it just doesn't happen.
Right.
It's not like it happens overnight, so.
that's what I want to assure people in the room that, and guys on the staff, tell me if I'm wrong, but I was in public service for 34 and a half years. And as an engineer at City Utilities for many of those years, I welcome calls from concerned citizens. Talk to the people that know, which are people employed by the city of Willard. They have their finger on the pulse of what's happening. They're gonna know what's true, what's not true. And I think most everybody's probably learned, we don't have any dealings with what Greene County approves or disapproves.
Yeah.
That's up to them. That's a different entity. And like Trevor said, come back and says, oh, well, Greene County said we can do this. We can't handle it, we're gonna tell them no.
Then it just sits vacant.
That's right,
At that
yeah.
point, until we figure something else out.
And, I as on this advisory board, the last thing I wanna do is say, oh, yeah, everything's great, and it not be great. I'm not gonna go for that, Not that I have any power to vote or anything, but, we're looking at it too as an advisory board. We meet every month. Y'all are welcome to come, and if you wanna know what's going on, call the city and say, hey, I saw some activity over here, what's happening? Because we may or may not know, because we might not live in that area and never drive by. And, I don't know how many people come in a day or a month to want to develop a piece of land. They can't tell us, every developer that comes in, and oh, by the way, this guy's got a half acre over here, he wants to do this. That's just not manageable. But I'm glad that y'all are here, that's great. But please talk to the city, any questions you have, and I think everything will work out better for everybody involved to do that.
Trevor, can you address the water? We
Yeah.
talked about the sewer. What is the situation with extending water? And also just to explain really clearly, when we have a developer bringing in a development in Willard, or I guess this wouldn't be in Willard, it would be in utility
Outside, it's in the
district.
utility service area.
We don't have to serve that. The city makes a decision based on the interest of the current customers, and the developer, like you just said, pays
Yeah.
for any system infrastructure that's needed.
Yeah,
Can you
so,
just explain that a little more
so
really
the
clearly?
water, we're still working on the water study. Water is similar to sewer in that we know that he can't do a full build out without upgrades. They're still, Cochran is still working on the study, I don't have final numbers, and, but there has to be, I don't know how, I'm trying to think of how to word this the best. There is a mutual, agreement that we want a development just like he wants to develop, but it needs to be responsible development, you know? All we have approved is phase 1 and phase 2, that's it. I mean, other than that, whatever happens, we don't know anything about it just because it's, you know, all we're interested in is phase 1, phase 2. We know we have capacity for that, there is available capacity for water and sewer in phases 1 and 2, so it's not a concern. Now, after that, that's where we are gonna have these harder meetings of, okay, now you're gonna have to pony up some cash because, you know, it's gonna take quite a bit. If you wanna do, if county approves the zoning, it's gonna take quite a bit. I mean, it's not gonna be the city is gonna front $5 million, and I'm just pulling that number out of the air, that's not, you know, so,
Do you know, when you say phase 1 and 2, was that his original plan, or is that his scaled down?
I can address that, Trevor.
yeah.
Yeah, so phase 1 and 2 was the original 2 streets that were proposed. Obviously, he's had to do some revisions due to some zoning at Greene County. So it's about, I think it's about 77 lots currently, that is proposed. Under our current capacity numbers that we receive from them, it's well within our sewer and water capacities. It's not a huge take for us, phases 1 and 2. And the developer's well aware of what Trevor was saying, that, you know, beyond phases 1 and 2, there's gonna have to be infrastructure improvements for increased density. As for the density of the county, as a developer, he's required to go in and show his development of the county. Whether it's just phases 1 and 2, he's required to show build out. So when you're in that meeting and you see 500 homes up on the screen, he's required to do that, even if it's not possible at this time to build that out. You know, he's required to show the zoning, and he's required to show the layouts for public safety, for infrastructure and everything like that, so people know this could possibly happen. But I mean, that's worst case what he was showing to the county.
No, that's the possible case.
That's the possibility.
That's what she's asking. What is he proposing, originally proposing? He's proposing 500 or 600 homes and possibly multi-home development, which would be,
I was really
in my
just,
opinion,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
apartment buildings.
Yeah.
So less than that, I just wanna say, like, currently, under current zoning, he can build 400 homes under current zoning. What he's proposing is 650 or 700 homes under urban residential.
And let me caveat a little bit on that, because the developer has been in contact with the city, because he wants to be transparent. We have a future use plan that shows mixed use down there. And we said, hey, we'd like some commercial, it'd be nice to have an Aldi's in a neighborhood like that, so I didn't have to drive to.
Oh, no, it wouldn't.
Okay, we can agree to disagree, that's okay.
No, it wouldn't.
So, but we said we'd like some commercial frontage, maybe some mixed use along there, and that's where you got some elevated numbers, you know? So, he was looking to satisfy, hey, you know, what's Willard need down there in the future? So when he put that out there, obviously the numbers went up a little bit, but like I said, those were, he has to represent the entire property when he's presenting for zoning, so.
And I want to add also, Willard's growing. I mean, let's just not look at this one neighborhood. And as a result of that, many years ago, and this is prudent for any utility company to do, you do long-range planning. So just for information for people in the room that might not know, in the future, there's another well plan for the city of Willard. What year that is, we've got some ideas, but it's gonna be driven by overall system demand, not one development. So I don't want people to think, oh, Willard's gotta spend X number of dollars on a new well because of this development. No, that's not the
Yeah,
case.
it's already planned.
It's already planned.
Yeah, I mean-
That, and future years out from that, another elevated water storage tank. So, you know, I just don't want people to think that we're having to spend all this money because this guy wants 400 homes or 600 homes. That's not the case. It's gonna be done anyway because you wanna have, in a water system or wastewater system, you wanna have excess capacity available. And especially in a water system, Kelly's with the Willard Fire Department. Kelly, you like extra water up in tanks. You know, I mean, that's for the benefit of the public. That doesn't help, you know, anybody in this room other than the people that live in Willard, you know. So there's other things in the long-range plan that are gonna happen just as a result of overall growth of the city of Willard. And it's money that's been budgeted out in future years, and there's improvements happening now, like the trunk sewer we mentioned. So I just want to try to assure everybody that, you know, the staff and they're not flying blind into development of the city as a whole. There is a plan and it's been thought out. They employ the services of engineering companies to do that. So that's kind of my 2 cents on this, and I did long-range planning for city utilities, I did water master plans, I did it for the city of San Antonio, so I can assure you.
Well, I'm not that capacity, I'm not an engineer, I'm not nothing. I live here.
Right.
And I shop at Dollar General, and I go into the Dollar General and go, what is that stench? And I met a lady, and she said, they can't pump the sewage out. It smells like this all the time over here. I mean, if we can't take care of that side of town, how are we gonna take care of another section over there?
Well, I'll let these guys.
I mean, you probably don't live anywhere close to where I'm talking about. I'm a little bit off from there. She does.
Yeah.
She lives right over there.
That was actually
good to the house.
Actually, that was on our agenda last month.
Last month, we
Yeah,
discussed
and Trevor explained it really well, and maybe.
And there was a lady last
Yeah.
night that said that there's a chain around, since you said fire,
Yeah.
there's a chain around one of the fire hydrants out
On
in
Dogwood,
Villa Park,
yeah, Villa Park on Dogwood, it says, out of service.
out of service, and it's been that way for months.
And every time the city
So-
puts a service, we don't, at the fire district, we don't maintain this fire hydrants. That's in the city's jurisdiction. But if the city puts one out of service, when they put a ring on it, they notify us and we make a note at the station that those hydrants are out, meaning we will have to go to the next hydrant up, or we will bring additional water source with us as we come. So let me address something real quick, and I know we're all over the place here, but I'll put in something to help you guys, because I fully understand where everybody's going here. There was a comment told to me, my name's Kelly Davis, I'm president of the fire district.
I'm sorry, Kelly, what?
Kelly Davis, and I'm the board president of the Willard Fire District. And somebody called me and said that there was a statement made about that, well, you know, it's gonna affect the fire department out there. We knew that the building was gonna come. And we have been planning for some growth out there for a long time. Our numbers continue to grow out there of responses. Every month at the board meeting, we can see the growth coming in responses of runs out there. So we had been anticipating this, and that's why in April, we went to the patrons of the fire district and we asked for a property tax increase. And that is to get the station back open. It will be back open. It's in the process, the tax was approved. It is in the process of getting ready to be opened up. It will take us some time. We have to get new hires put in there. We have to make a couple adjustments and putting some things in there that aren't there that will be needed. and some things, but the station is basically ready to pretty much go, except for some things that we have to change a little bit to receive, you know, the computer system has to be changed a little bit around out there and some things like that. There's a new piece of equipment that is being built right now to go in that station. They have already done interviews for employees to take that station. It will be 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But we can't do it, we couldn't do it all. We're just in a base phase of getting started, such as the water or the future planning. We won't receive this new income to take care of these employees that we had to hire to do this until January of 27. But all the preliminary work is being done right now. You actually may see some activity start down there as we can start doing a few things and handling that. But it is gonna open. It is.
Where are you talking?
The station at AB, it's on Pine and Oak. Right there by the water tower.
Yeah.
That station was opened in the past when we went full-time, it was open.
Yeah.
And we have a district over by, we cut 72 square miles is what we take care of. And so in that 72 square miles, we have Station 2 area, which is over there around Schuyler and some of that. And we take in a trailer park over there, which is outside the city limits, and we take in all those new homes over there. That experienced a growth spurt. Matter of fact, they just put another growth spurt in there. And so we had to increase population. It increased so fast, the runs was overtaking us. And our times were not good. So we wanted to get that. So we were slowed down out here. We weren't seeing anything happen over here. So we had to split up and we had to move some people out there to cover it. And we could cover time this way by coming out of here and going straight, rather than them guys looping all the way back around. So that's what we did. And I will assure you, that station is going to be back open. It's coming. I just want you guys to all feel relieved in that. The voters, we're so proud that everybody supports. That's what that money is for. It is for new hire and staffing and to get all this up and going. And it is going to happen. Matter of fact, it is happening. They sat down and started a process for get ready for some changes in personnel, interviews, all kinds of things to be prepared when the money comes. They will be in the door. So please know that we are there for you, and we will be there, continue to be. You can assure that station's coming back up. That was my number one thing to be done as one of my deals as board president. I want that station back open because I live out there too. So I live over on Haven Street, so I know what the need is. But if you see a ring out, that's what the deal is with the hydrants. That means the hydrant's down. We were notified, so we know that. So, we know, hey, if it's a fire in that area, we either go to the next one. Just to tell you how much we've updated this, we can see where every hydrant is in the district now. They have a computer in their fire trucks, and the minute they hit, wherever that call hits, that information is tapping on every sector, showing them what the streets intersect. It takes them right down to the top of your house, knowing exactly where they're heading. We just incorporated that new into the district. There's been tons of improvement in the fire district, I assure you. And we're working every day to continue that for the safety of these patrons in this area that are in the Willard Fire District, and our neighbors that need a call if we have to step back a little bit. So please be assured we are there for you. If you have an issue, anybody, please call me, call Kevin Sampson, he's the fire chief out for Willard District. Call him, call me, any of us, and we will, please, will answer your questions for you. We can tell you straight up how it is, I promise you. Promise, that's my promise.
And in that same vein, Trevor, you're the one that probably put the ring on, or one of your staff, so you're aware of that. And I mean, it's like anything you own, things break, things get damaged, and you've got to prioritize. They've got a limited staff. You've got to get the most important things first, but they haven't forgotten about it. I don't know what the issue with this particular hydrant. If you really want to know, you call them, ask the staff, hey, this street, what's going on? And
Yeah, we are aware of it. We put the ring on it.
Yeah.
We have a plan to get it fixed. It's the only one out there in the meadows that is down. There are no other broken hydrants out there, so
Right.
it is the only one, and there is a plan to get it fixed.
Okay. All right, well, it sounds like you've addressed the water and wastewater connections in that area, and as you said, if you've got any other questions, they're gonna stay after for specifics about the development. If you wanna, if you ever move on to the I&I discussion.
Yeah, Ray, do you wanna take that one?
Well, we are working on it right now. We're putting in some manholes in town. We're like I said, we're finding I&I, and we're finding a tremendous amount in the meadows, a tremendous amount in the old clay lines in the city. So this is going to be an ongoing process of digging this stuff up and fixing it. So, don't know what else to say, but just, you know, it's something that's going to be ongoing for the life of the city.
Right.
Can you explain just for some of the guys that are here sitting in the audience tonight, what I&I is, so it helps them understand what that means? We know what it means, but it may be something to help them.
Well, ideally, you know, your sewer drains out of your house, like you've seen in there, really clean out there, and it drains into a sewer main. Ideally, if you built a brand new city, brand new sewer lines, everything is completely piped in the system, you could say that whatever your water meter reads, that you minus 10% off of that, and that's what's gonna come down the sewer system. And that would be amazing if that happens, but new communities have been built, and over time, these lines loosen up, the ground shifts, things happen, contractors that are boring, putting in communication cables, things get hit, things happen. And if it's been dry, you'll have no I&I, you know, if you're in a drought, because there's no groundwater, nothing to get in. But you'll have these big rains, like last year, we had the 2 wettest months in Missouri's history. That water all filters down, and it creates a pressure. At any point, it can enter the sewer system because water will look for the path of least resistance. And then that enters the sewer system in the sewer mains, that flows right to our lift stations, that gets pumped to Springfield and we pay for it. So you're in a constant hunt because back in the day, they put clay in most of the city. Well, clay is very brittle and breaks. Plastic has some bending ability, but even we'll find plastic where roots have penetrated into joints, and if a root can get in, then water can get in. So it's an ongoing process, and even lining, so we've got to identify all this stuff, got companies come in, and they can reline the clay with fiberglass and stop a lot of this stuff. But it's just a detective job to find this, and every city does it. Every single city in the country will be working on I&I constantly. It's just a thing. And you find it, and you fix it, and then you move on. And then every couple of years, you go back and re-look at the system because you're going to find more, or more leaks develop, or manholes start leaking on the inside. Sorry about that. So it's just an ongoing process, but it's a little different for Willard because we don't have a wastewater plant. A lot of communities, they will, instead of dealing with I&I, they'll build the wastewater plant enormous to handle all the I&I because it's more expensive. Because I worked in another city and they built a $4.6 million treatment plant versus the $26 million it would have taken to dig up all the lines in the little town. So we don't have that option here. You're paying by the gallon of Springfield. So it's in our vested interest to try and take as much of this out. And we can even find stuff like somebody runs over a clean out in your yard. Well, you've got a 4-inch hole, and in a rain event, it's just literally pouring water in the city's paying for. So we look at everything from, you know, the clean out in your yard to the mains, the lateral lines, to manholes leaking.
Hey, Ray, you want to talk about sump pumps also?
Yeah, and also a big problem is that we'll go out and smoke test, and that means we put a smoke machine on the manhole, and it forces smoke into the system. Well, you can clearly see the white smoke coming out. And this is not only for the city's benefit, this is for the homeowner's benefit also. Because we'll find houses where smoke comes out of the inside of the house, and getting back to your question about the smell, you should never smell sewer gas in your house. Because if you smell sewer gas in there, something is not plumbed correctly with a water trap, And that's probably why a lot of businesses, if they say they're smelling something, it's not the actual sewer main. It's usually floor drains that have S-traps that never get used and they dry out. And that creates an avenue for sewer gas to actually come in, and that's when you smell it. So I'd be happy to go to any of these businesses and look at that stuff, because that's usually the problem we find. It's not a cracked line under a slab or something like that. But if we see smoke, we should just see smoke coming out of your house in the vent. And that lets us know everything in your house is sealed up and correct. That's where the vent should come out to vent the sewer gas. If it's coming out of your gutters, then the gutters are plumbed into the sewer system, which is a big no-no, because, I mean, that's all money that's we're gonna have to pay the city of Springfield. And we're always striving to keep this down, to keep rates down. So it's a constant problem. So, you know, it's.
Just I and I stands for inflow and infiltration. Inflow is water that gets in quickly, like a storm sewer connection, cross connection with the sewer system, or downspouts, as Ray mentioned, those types of defects. Infiltration, then, that's where the water table during wet weather gets high, and then that's a long-term infiltration into the sewer system.
And that can last for
Days after, days after.
literal months sometimes that the water will flow in. But like a rain event, if it's flowing in from your gutters, then that's only gonna last for that time. So you can see just, you know, in one leak in this one manhole, if in 1 month it does enough water to do 540 houses, the city, that needs to be fixed. Because we don't need to be paying for that much groundwater.
And where did you say that leak was, that manhole was? Was it in the meadows?
Yeah, out in the meadows, yeah.
Because that's where I live.
Yeah. I got a video here if you'd like to see that. It's amazing how much clear water is just gushing in.
Unnecessarily.
Unnecessarily, right?
Okay.
But not, in the defense of Willard, I mean, this stuff, all the modern stuff we put in, Sam's gonna be out there, and he's gonna be checking this, he's gonna be looking, because they'll pressure and back test everything. The new stuff that goes in is going to be nice and solid and all plastic. The old stuff was clay and stuff like that, and over the years, it just, the joints loosen up, it's just a fact of
Well,
life.
I know a couple of years ago that your Willard people came out to our subdivision and, like looked to check and see if we had clay pipes or.
Right, you
we
probably
had
saw me out there, I was out there
plastic
about
pipes.
3 weeks ago during the rain.
Yeah.
And you'll see us out there pulling manholes and doing inspections, and we'll have a sewer camera out there, where we actually will drive it down the sewer main and look for breaks and all that stuff. So,
Well, I know they went house to house seeing if we had like plastic pipes.
You're talking about the lead coppers.
Yeah.
That's separate.
yeah, that's on
That's
the,
something different, okay.
that,
Okay.
that's on the water side of it, yeah.
Potable water.
Okay.
But it's unfortunately a battle that's gonna be fought forever, and we'll do the best we can, so.
Mike mentioned sump pumps, people that have sump pumps in their basement to keep it from flooding during rain events. If they connect those to the sewer system, that's a no-no that should be done. It should be pumping to the surface out to the curb and the street, where it'll run off. But you'll find that in a lot of cases. I mean, you'll even find some sump pumps in crawl spaces if there's moisture or wetness in crawl spaces.
And when you talked about having the smell in your house, sometimes you'll smell that sewer gas. We had that here, well, back out at our house, in our basement, we have a bathroom down there that has a shower stall in it, and we don't use that bathroom as much. So over time, that J-trap, I'm sure, evaporates out. When it evaporates out, then it, like you said, lets that gas go on and have a path to move.
And
You take a pitcher of water and you go down there and you pour it in that drain, it fills that P-trap back up, it's over.
And actually, what we recommend, if you have one that you're just really not using,
Yeah.
dump mineral oil down it.
Yeah.
Because that won't evaporate, and that does a seal on that drain, and then you won't smell that sewer gas.
It'll keep the gas where it belongs.
Well, what we're talking about is there's a thing over by Concord Quarry. Is that sewer
We're
there?
talking about 94 West.
Oh, they're talking about
Yeah,
94. I thought we were talking about
This
the
is
Dollar
where-
General still.
Well,
She
it's
is.
across the street, but
She's
when
saying
you
the
smell
smell is
it
going.
when the wind hits, a certain direction?
It's not in Dollar General, it's in the
Outside.
air.
Unfortunately, in a sewer system, it's gonna be an anaerobic environment, that means no oxygen, there's not much oxygen there, and the bacteria will digest human waste, and that smell is a byproduct of the digestion, and there is no way to 100% eliminate that.
Drive down James River sometimes when you're going past the
Yeah.
Southwest Treatment Plant and take a gander in that's pretty tough.
And there are other plants that, I hate to say this, but drive-by carpage, that's horrendous through there. So it's bad, I realize that, but it's a necessary evil because you can't really oxygenate the lines in the system.
But the lady that I met out there said there was never any kind of issue before those apartments went in. So that was,
I think that's.
there we are with
The only
talking
thing that I
apartments and then
could
we're
say
talking
that
multi-family dwellings off the other way, what do we got?
could potentially
Sticky
be
air everywhere.
a possible solid surface deflecting wind. That would be something that simple. It didn't affect, I mean, building apartments there is not gonna affect the smell of sewer. The only thing it did is potentially provided a wind block, maybe, to allow that smell to either come around those apartments in a different way, or to let it stay in one area for longer because it was open ground where the wind just blew straight across, now we've got a wall there, and it's holding it back a little bit. That would be the only reason that an apartment complex at all would affect the smell of sewer. That would be, and it's not because of excess flow or the wastewater coming from an apartment complex smells different. That would be the only reason at all that would be there, was because of, it could have potentially changed wind direction across the highway and caused it to shift that direction. I mean, we can do a lot of things, but we can't change the way the wind blows. So that, I mean, in a nutshell, that could potentially be all that is. I mean, it didn't change the outcome of what's happening in that lift station. It just could simply be just a force of nature that's just caused the wind to change directions right through there a little bit.
Sure doesn't help the
That particular
value of the
station,
housing in that area though, if it stinks all the time.
none of those apartments flow by gravity. Their wastewater does not flow by gravity to that lift station or that pump station you're talking
Sure.
about. All of that flows back to what we call D station that's on Hughes Road. All the flow that comes into that station there along the highway is pumped from other pump stations in town. So by the time it's pumped there, it's in the system so long, it goes septic, and that's what the odors that you're smelling.
I mean, it doesn't affect me. I don't live there.
Yeah, well,
I'm shocked.
I'm just saying,
And that's what I noticed.
The city also spent 50 grand on air scrubbers to put on that lift station, and they are maintained.
When was that?
How long ago did we put that?
I don't know. You got
Maybe a
those-
year after the lift station, maybe 2020, 2019, 2020, something like that. So, I mean, they put a big chunk of money up, and, I mean, they didn't have to do that. I mean, that did help a lot. I mean, it did help. But at the end of the day, it's a lift station, there's only so much you can do. I mean, its whole reason for existing is to move human waste, so I mean, it's never gonna smell great, but.
That station pumps all the flow from Willard to Springfield system for treatment, is what it does.
No, which one? The one over by the quarry or the one over
On
on
my quarry.
Yeah.
103?
No, the one
On
by
my
Prairie.
quarry.
Where's the one, my assumption, I thought all of Willard, or I thought a portion of Willard went through the one on 103.
No.
What does it do? If
No,
it's a
that's
pump station?
Meadows. Meadows, the two
That's what
subdivisions of
she-
Meadows.
She's saying that 94 doesn't pump at all because Meadows has a different entry point.
Oh, no,
No,
no.
they're the one on 103, that just, right now, that's just pumping the wastewater that's coming from like Industrial Park West, the new terminal building, Springfield
Yeah.
development. It's eventually going to pump the Willard, the Meadows flow to Springfield.
And the lagoon. The lagoon will go away?
Yeah.
The
Is that
lagoon
what
will
you
be
understand?
gone.
Yeah.
And so will people be building on top of where the lagoon is now?
Well, that's,
No, that's city owned property.
No.
No, we're not gonna allow any building out there.
Another Litton.
Okay, Trevor, anything else on I&I?
Well, I mean, Ray
Is there
touched
some
on a
smoke
lot of.
tests planned, for this summer or not?
You have smoke testing plan?
Yes.
Summer? Do you?
But the problem with smoke testing is I need it to be dry.
Right.
If the ground is wet at all in any way, you're wasting your time.
Okay.
Usually you smoke test in July, August,
Right.
and then you try to encompass the entire city.
Yeah. Okay, so that's just kind of the FYI, if you see smoke coming up out of the ground.
But you'll be notified.
Well, yeah,
about
if we're in the
that
area.
Before we do it.
Yeah.
We can only use each area at a time, so everybody will know what's going on.
Right, perfect. Okay,
No, I think that's good.
okay. Any, thing for the director's report?
Well, yeah, I can touch on a little bit about kind of what we've been working on.
Okay,
I talked about it just a little bit ago. The fire hydrants, we've only got one left in the meadows. We've got a couple left in Willard still yet to work on, but we're focusing on meadows first.
okay,
So once we get that one repaired, that will be all the fire hydrants that need to be fixed out there. Sewer department, they did a manhole install on Ridgeview. We spent a lot of time in front of Scott's house this last couple of weeks, so, yeah, so they got that done, Ray and his guys, did a really good job on that. They also, poured the concrete down there at Ridgeview and AB. They also did, concrete pour over there on Main Street, where we, put in a manhole down there. So streets department got those fixed up. Work is still continuing on the force main project and the gravity sewer, out there. They're still moving along. Gravity sewer project in Meadows is looking really good. Of course, Ray and his guys still working on finding I&I. They found a real good leak there at, Barwick and Maine. Is it Barwick and King?
Yeah,
Barwick and
it's
Maine.
King.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Well, Barwick and King, I don't know if you want to talk about that one at all.
Right, we found, and sometimes you just pull manhole covers and you just look at the flow. Like, hey, it's significantly more flow in this manhole, then you go upstream and you pull a manhole there, and you're like, well, there's not very much flow there at all. So then you run a sewer camera up there, and we found a broken lateral line that probably makes the one in the meadows look insignificant. And it's in the bottom of a deep ditch in the Southview drainage. What makes this area particularly bad is there's tons of limestone down there, and the groundwater hits that limestone shelf, and then it finds a sewer line, and then it just gushes into our system. So as soon as it dries up and I can get into people's yard, I'm gonna dig up that entire line and fix all that. So,
But what I would kind of segue into that is, I mean, Ray and his guys, I mean, they are working hard, and I mean, they're hitting I&I every day as much as we can, but, I mean, we've only got 50,000 budgeted every year for I&I, and, I mean, in utilities, that just does not work very far at all. So we are doing everything we can in-house, but at some point, we are really gonna have to look at a grant. I mean, a grant and a certified rate, those are really the two big ones that, we're gonna have to look at that, you know? Cause there's just more than we can handle, you know? And it's not gonna show up on our Springfield bill until we make some serious progress, so. We did a hydrant replacement on Farm Road 89. Kelly, I don't know if you heard about that at all. I know that Brookline Fire Department got pretty fired up over that one, but we got them calmed down. We moved a hydrant that was behind Main Street feeds that you couldn't even get to, you know, if you wanted to. You didn't even know it was back there, you know, so we dug it up and then we moved it over to the road where you can't actually get a truck to it, so that worked out pretty good. We also did a valve install on Ridgeview. There was a valve in a guy's driveway down there and it just kept breaking, falling in, couldn't even use the valve, it was basically out of service, so we met with the homeowner, he was like, yes, please, get that thing out of here, you know, so we got it out, he was super happy, we moved the valve across the street, so everything's good now, so.
Good.
Yeah, but I think that's about everything I got on there, unless anyone's got questions on it.
Any new business?
I have no new business.
Do we have any unfinished business? All right. Now, we will officially adjourn our Water Advisory Board meeting and Troy mentioned that he's available afterwards for anybody who wants to specifically discuss the development. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I'll stick around. Yes, we can.